All right, let's go to the West region. Chip Patterson, I'm going to start with you. Oh, this is interesting. We're taking a big dog here, UNCW.
Oh, yeah, that's right. The Seahawks of UNC Wilmington to KO Siddle, former Kevin Keats lieutenant. And he does have, we know the way that it went for Kevin Keats at NC State near the end, unceremoniously fired less than 1 year after leading his team to the Final Four. But go all the way back to the last time UNCW was in the NCAA tournament, because the style of team is very similar to what Siddle has been doing with the Seahawks. It is a group that is going to try to get out and run. They are going to do a lot of pressure defense. They're going to try to utilize their athleticism to create some easy buckets. And we talked about this a little bit with Texas Tech in general. There have been those injury issues to Chance McMillan and Darian Williams, who are not JT Toppin. JT Toppin is the best Texas Tech player, but for Texas Tech to play to its potential, and its potential is to be one of the 10 to 12 best teams in this tournament, that they do need that full roster, in my opinion, because they're going to be heavy favorites here. If there's any injury questions, you might see them being limited. You might see them maybe on a minutes restriction. So I'm going to go with UNCW, who's going to try to speed up this game and make it a little bit uncomfortable. I always try to find at least a game or two where I think, based on the matchup, you're going to have it's the grab the remote game. Okay. And I understand that old heads like me remember when CBS just had to take us from game to game to game to game. But, we've had like 20, 30, 25 years of being able to jump around. And this is going to be the one that flashes at the top of the screen. And you say, wait, Texas Tech's only up by 2 at half? Grab the remote. And, you try to go flip to it. I think UNC Wilmington, with the style of play, can be just a thorn in the side that won't go away. You going first half? I'll go full game. Give me the full game. Yeah. I get, Ben, I like where you're going there. But I need to be able to have like 15 minutes of competitiveness where they really cut into a lead or jump out to a lead to be able to get this home. I like UNC Wilmington plus the big number.
Mike McClure is back. He is not wearing a hat. He's back at 12:52. We had bets going, Mike. We had no hat from Gen M, parlayed with Mike being back before 12:50. So the parlay does not hit. It was close, Joe. You were very close there. Impressive. All right, so we are now in we're in the West region, Mike McClure, and we are going to get to your favorite bet in the South later on. We'll circle back to that. But, Mike, let's go to your favorite bet in the West. Thanks for coming back so quickly. We saw you on HQ. Chip put the monitor up. We were able to see you looking great.
Yeah, I did a little M squared inception. Hopefully we've got no copyright violations of putting HQ on our own YouTube stream, but we'll find out, right?
Yes,
we will. We will find out.
I am an attorney. I think we're good. FYI. Okay. Sia Nejad, Esquire, at your service. That one was for free. Mike, speaking of free, we're trying to make money on this free show. Talk to me about Kansas and Arkansas.
Kansas and Arkansas, a matchup that I can't wait to watch. We've got some good, strong opinions on both sides, but I think whoever wins it is live to potentially take out St. John's in that second game. I like the over in the first half, which is kind of a rare position for me. You guys know I love betting a lot of unders, particularly early. I thought this was a little soft at 68.5. I think that this number should be 70. Look, these two teams still want to play with a little pace. Arkansas absolutely does. I think this is a game that could be a little bit of offense back and forth early. I think this is going to be a higher scoring game. Lean to the over for the full game as well. But I like what I've seen here from Arkansas offensively a little bit. I don't necessarily love the defensive matchups in this game. I just think Arkansas can score. I think Kansas can score with them in this matchup. So this one to me is one that I think that it wouldn't shock me at all if we're talking about a situation where both teams hit 35 plus in this first half.
All right. We're looking at that first half, 68.5 currently at BetMGM. So that number is still alive. That's good to see. All right, Tom, we go from one over to another over. Maryland. Talk to me.
Yeah, well, I just want to say quick that I was watching a documentary with my kids. I forgot what it was, but they were at a golf outing, and in the background, the TV was on and Mike was on. And my son goes, "Hey, you're on with that guy." So it's just an honor to be here with Mike and Chip today. Well, I didn't see you, Sia.
I'm just kidding.
You were probably hosting the show. But I agree with everything that Chip said about UNC Wilmington. I'm actually holding. There's a couple games that we haven't seen really any line movement yet. That's one of them. Clemson is another one. I'm just kind of waiting to see if that ticks up at all. But yeah, I like the UNC Wilmington team too. I decided to go with over the Maryland team total here. I know Grand Canyon is a popular underdog and they might cover this game, but 80.5, I think either way, Maryland is getting to that number. These two teams are going to play fast. They're going to run. I like Maryland's size advantage down low. You know, they only play about 5 or 6 guys, but I think if that catches up to them, it'll be later in the tournament. So I think this is an interesting game. I think it's going to be one of those fun games to watch, but I think it'll be competitive enough too, where late in the game, if Maryland has that 8, 9, 10 point lead, I know we talked about this earlier, Sia, these games don't end. These conference tournament and NCAA tournament games do not end. They go on for 20 minutes with the fouls. So if we're close, I think we can get it over with foul shots.
Hey, real quick question that I don't want a ton of analysis on because I want to move to the East region and your favorite bets there as well. But if Maryland meets Florida, I happen to think that it's not like the worst matchup in the world. And maybe I'm just like simplifying it. Chip, I just want to go to you. Like looking at the brackets, if Maryland beats Florida, do you give Maryland a reasonable shot there?
Well, if Maryland meets Florida.
Meets Florida, right.
Okay. Yes. The big discrepancy between those two teams, though, to me is depth. And it's not just the fact that Maryland leans so heavily on their own starting 5, and I love the Crab 5. It is that Florida is so versatile, you know, and they've just got like the veteran guards. You'd never know who's got the hot hand. They've got lots of different bigs who can come in. Some of them can even stretch you out with some pretty decent 3-point shooting. I just think that for Maryland, we saw it a little bit in the second half of Big Ten play. They actually had to lean on their defense. The offense kind of went into a hole for about a 3 to 4 game stretch. It was like Michigan State broke them or something, right? And so you just haven't seen that with the Gators. You never know who's going to have the hot hand. Lots of different players can step up. I think that especially deeper into the tournament, I like Florida's depth and versatility advantage, where if Juju Reese and Derek Queen just don't have it going and Jacoby Gillespie can't quite get the 3-pointer to fall, then all of a sudden it's kind of panic mode for the Terps. And I just haven't seen that from the Gators much at all.
If you're listening to the podcast, I want to say 2 things. 1, thank you for listening. 2, please go ahead and review the podcast on Apple or Spotify. The reason I even bring that up is because there is a pretty cool advantage to watching us live as well. Again, thank you for listening to the podcast after the fact, but we've got the chat going off here and we've got Ben going off. He just like basically like ran the bracket real quick and he hit the matchup button, Florida, if that eventual matchup happens, Maryland versus Florida, and kind of showed you how the matchup looks over there at CBSSports.com. But also Mike McClure in the chat saying, hey, I'm going to set this line at Florida minus actually 5.5 or even 6. So, Mike, it sounds like you're pretty confident in Florida maybe pulling out the victory there.
Yeah, so actually what I was saying there, see, I would set the line 4.5. I think the market will make it 5.5 or 6.
I see. Okay.
So yeah, be slight lean there. I think it's going to be competitive. I love Florida still, despite only having it 4.5 and thinking the market might be closer to 5.5 or 6. But that's roughly what you should expect. Just over a full possession and as many as 2 full possessions.
Tom, you've got the last word on this hypothetical matchup.
Yeah, I'm an old head like Chip, so I can't figure out how to use the chat. But I think Mike's right on with that Florida line. I think that's a perfect number for that game. I agree with what these guys said. I think at some point Florida's depth and just they're so tough because of their offensive rebounding down low. I mean, they get opportunity after opportunity. We saw that against Tennessee. Tennessee made runs against them in the tournament final, but it's just second chance, and they wear you down in the paint. And I think that would be Maryland's issue there.